Hey, Level Up listeners, if you want to start booking five-figure weddings, then it's time to start curating a five-figure experience. Get started today with our Client Experience Bundle. Charging higher rates and booking higher quality weddings both require elevating your client experience, and our bundle is going to help you do just that. We are here to equip you with everything you need to impress your high-wealth clients and full-service wedding planners. With this guide, you are going to save yourself hours of troubleshooting and years of potential setback. Now with this client experience bundle that we've put together for you, you're going to have everything at your fingertips to elevate your communication and your processes both pre-wedding day and post-wedding day. This bundle not only includes email templates, but it also includes a customizable proposal template and professional guides. If you're looking to upsell your clients to serve them really well without feeling salesy, we also include polished and professional templates that provide your client with a feeling that you have their best interest at heart while helping you increase your profits. One of my favorite things about this bundle is that it includes our style guide. Dressing for the occasion demonstrates to your client and the creative team that you respect their event and also showcases a team player mindset. It's truly an incredible resource. Head over to thelevelupco.com/shop and position yourself at the top of the market and grab our client experience bundle today.
This is the Level Up Podcast. I'm Taylor Petrinovich.
And I'm Kelley Gilster of 618 Studios.
And we are on a mission to help wedding filmmakers and photographers level up their businesses so you can make more and work less.
We want to help you confidently take your business from mainstream to luxury, and it all starts right here.
Hey friends, and welcome to the Level Up Podcast. I'm your host, Taylor Petrinovich, joined as always by my co-host, Kelley Gilster.
Hey guys, I'm so excited to be here with a very special guest who is another part of our Rising Star series, Skylar Ball. Skylar, it is so nice to have you on. Thank you for being here today.
Of course, yeah, I'm so excited to chat with y'all and kind of speak to y'all's audience as well.
Yeah, so Skylar, can you share with the listeners a little bit about your business, where you are based, how many years you've been in business, all of those good things?
Yeah, of course. So I'm based in West Tennessee right now. I'm from East Tennessee originally, but my wife's in school out here, so we're out here for a little bit in Memphis. So based out here right now, I started my business back in, I guess 2020 was the first year I started my business, kind of during COVID. But I've been shooting weddings since about 2017.
Okay, cool. And was that through another business and then you started your own in 2020?
Yeah, so I started working with another company back in 2017. And they did like weddings and commercial and, some real estate, things along those lines. And then once I left that company, I kind of honed in on weddings with my own personal brand and just kind of focused on that. So I worked with them from 2017 until 2020. And then from 2020 until now, kind of been rolling with my own thing.
Yeah, and you're doing an incredible job, which is why you're here with us in this Rising Star series. So you're 5 years in. We are at the beginning of 2025 at the time of recording. Can you share what your business looks like now? Where is kind of your sweet spot on bookings of weddings? How many do you want to have? What's kind of your average price point right now and what your collections are kind of looking like?
Yeah, so for my goal on bookings for the year, I kind of shoot for somewhere around 15 bookings. I'm already at that number for this year, so probably will end up a little bit higher. But yeah, trying to end up somewhere around that 15 mark. As far as price point, I currently am starting at 8,000 and trying to work that up a little bit, get a little bit more in like the 5-figure range. I do have a few weddings that I've booked at the 5-figure range so far, so really stoked about those. But yeah.
Congrats.
Amazing. Okay, let's look at all the great things that he just talked about. One, he's already booked out and it's end of February already for the year. He has a couple of 5-figure bookings and he's only 5 years into business. Obviously, you are doing something right. So let's talk with you, Skylar, about what's been working really, really well in your business so listeners can kind of start to see how maybe they can kind of work some things on in their own business, and then maybe some sticking points that you're sort of feeling with. We want this to be just like a really open conversation with listeners who are kind of in a similar place as you, but maybe they're feeling like they're in a plateau. And how did you kind of push through that?
Yeah, so I'll go back to, I guess, the start of 2024. At that point, my prices were, I think I was starting at 5,000 at that point. So about $3,000 lower than where I'm starting now. And I kind of felt like I was at a point in my local market to where it was like, I'm really having an issue pushing past this range. Like, I'm not seeing people, like, my starting prices were 5K, and I was pretty much booking all weddings at 5K. So people were, I do like 3 collections or whatever, and people were not booking the higher collections. So I was kind of at a sticking point at that point where it was like, all right, how do I really push past this? Like, I hear a lot of people kind of get in that like $5,000 to $6,000 range, and you get a lot of like stick there. Like, it's really hard to push past that. So a lot of what I really started focusing on doing was like really focusing on like my connections and other people in the industry that I was around consistently. So trying to, get to where I was like closer to a lot of different wedding planners, closer to a lot of like photographers who were, a few levels ahead of me in the business, whether that was through like networking events or just networking on social media, different things like that. So that's really where I focused in on kind of pushing past that point.
Yeah, that's great. I do think that networking is something that is a piece of the puzzle that a lot of people kind of get to a little later in the game, and they do find that can break you past that plateau. And it seems like that's something that's worked really well for you, obviously. Like, now you've raised your prices by at least $3,000. You're booking weddings above 10K here and there. So what you're doing is working. I think it's so interesting to see what other people are getting stuck with in their businesses. Like, what is it that feels hard for them at, like, right now? Because we all have struggles. Like, everything you see on Instagram is obviously our highlight reel. It's the best of, it's the things that we want to put forward facing in our businesses. But what we don't see is what's going on, on the other side of the computer screen, all the turmoil, all the doubt, all the struggle. So it sounds like maybe around a year ago, you were kind of going through a little bit of a struggle with the plateau. Were you finding yourself feeling stuck in other areas beyond just like booking above 5K, or what were those other sticking points for you?
Yeah, so I think just in my local market, like my local market at the time was like Knoxville, Tennessee. So like in my local market, it felt like I was kind of getting to a point where there were not a lot of weddings happening where people were wanting to book at that, $5,000-$6,000 price point. So I think I was getting a lot more no's in whenever I was getting inquiries because of that. So I think too, kind of getting out of my market and kind of going a little bit more towards like the Nashville market, places like that, is trying to start seeking relationships in those areas. I think that was super beneficial. So like, even though Nashville, I wouldn't say is like, where I live, I still kind of consider that now like my main market.
Yeah, that's great. I think so often people, they get into their local markets and then they box themselves into that market thinking that this is where I am, this is where I lay my head at night, this is where I need to do business, when that's absolutely not the case. Like, we can go a couple hours outside of our local market to for that to be our new local market if the price point now that we're at needs to exceed, in order to reach our goals, right? So, Taylor, you speak very openly about your local market in Sacramento. The cap on that you were kind of finding was like that $7,000, $8,000 range. And then you knew that, like, okay, let's pivot here. Like, let's not just get stuck and box myself in and be like, well, this is where I live. This is the market I serve. There's nothing I can do about it. Like, how can I now pave a way to that new market in order so I can raise my prices?
I kind of switched the way I looked at my local market from Sacramento to Northern California and those more affluent areas where people are having those inbound destination weddings. Maybe back in like 2020, 2021 was when I really started focusing on it. But yours is much more recent. So I would kind of love to know, because I think this is a journey that so many photographers and filmmakers are going to find themselves alongside you in. Can you walk us through a little bit of those steps you took in order to get more of those Nashville weddings on the books?
Yeah, for sure. So I would say I'm still kind of in that, trying to kind of like grow my brand in Nashville, kind of get more weddings there. A lot of what I'm doing is just networking. So, I've kind of started to do more of like the WIPA events, kind of find some different planners and photographers there that I'm really trying to like gravitate towards and that I really want to work with. I'm actually doing a styled shoot tomorrow with a planner in Nashville, and a photographer that I've worked with once before. That he's great too. So I'm really excited about that. And that one is one that I'm doing like for completely free. But I think just doing like free work in those areas, as well as networking, is huge. Like free work, especially whenever you're trying to like get into a new market, can go like so far to like helping you get in that, because a lot of planners, photographers, other people that we work with in the industry, it's very hard for them to work with someone for the first time or like recommend someone whenever they haven't actually been working with them on a wedding day. So, kind of getting in there with some of the styled shoots and different things like that help you to really, help build that trust.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's a lot to risk, especially at that higher tier in the market on those wedding days when you're bringing in a new creative partner for the very first time that you haven't had a chance to really work with ever. So, everything that you're doing is so, so smart. And before we started recording, Skylar, I actually said that I had something that I wanted to share with you. And then I'm like, oh, actually, I'm going to wait for the podcast to tell you. But right after you did that beautiful wedding at South Hall with Garrett Richardson, and I saw you doing it, and I was like cheerleading for you along the way. And I'm like, this is going to be so great. I'm so glad that you're working with Garrett, who is, an incredible photographer. He's shot Engage. He's really working in the luxury space, and he's just a very kind human as well. And so, and then South Hall is a amazing venue to work at too. So I'm like, I'm seeing all the puzzle pieces fitting together for you really well on those areas. And I actually voice memoed Garrett after the wedding. And I said, hey, you worked with one of our students, Skylar, and I hope it was a wonderful experience. And I would love to hear like your thoughts on working with him. And he voice memoed me back, and he said, Skylar was incredible, and I can really, really see a bright future ahead for him. And I can also see areas in which he, I could see like he basically said like I can see little hints of you guys in how he works and how he approaches a wedding day. So I can see where your teachings helped him. And it was like really fun to see. And yes, he's a great guy. And so I was like, great job, Skylar. I'm just so proud of you.
Yeah, that's awesome. Garrett, he was fantastic to work with. So fun. And he's actually the photographer that I'm working with tomorrow as well.
Cool.
So
I had
I'm
a feeling.
excited to work with him again.
Yeah,
So,
that's great.
yeah, it was such a fun wedding to shoot, and like shooting alongside somebody like Garrett, I feel like helps me a lot. Just kind of like see different things on a wedding day. Like, Garrett is obviously, he's doing weddings that are above what I'm typically doing right now. So, kind of like watching him on a wedding day and like kind of like what he's really focusing in on, really helps. I feel like it helps me a lot. Just kind of like see like, hey, what do I need to do to like continue to progress my craft as well?
The one secret weapon that propelled me and my business into the luxury market, my website. And truth be told, I have never had a custom website made for me. I am a huge fan of templates, and there's truly no better place to buy a website template than Tonic Site Shop. Unlike any other template on the market, Tonic Site Shop website templates elevate and transform the way you show up online. They're super simple but highly customizable plug-and-play templates for show-it websites have truly transformed my business and allowed me to showcase my brand in the best light possible, all while attracting high-quality clients and wedding planners to inquire with me, resulting in hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of bookings that I'm confident would not have been possible without a polished website template like the one that I got from Tonic. You can grab your own website template at tonicsiteshop.com and use our code LEVELUP15 for 15% off your purchase. Again, that is code LEVELUP15 for 15% off your website template from Tonic Site Shop. So get started by elevating your online presence with a Tonic Site Shop template for your website today. can you talk a little bit about the journey of implementation? So many people love to just kind of rattle off a few things: website, branding, social media, relationships. But I kind of want to hear a little bit more of like what you actually did in order to kind of push past that plateau and put yourself on a trajectory to get to where you are now and where you're headed.
Yeah, well, I think first of all, I would say the main thing that I did, and I'll give you all a shout out here, but definitely starting to invest in some education, because you kind of, it's like one of those things, like you don't know what you don't know. Like you can keep beating that square peg in the round hole, but it's not going to go. Like you have to get kind of outside of your own box. And whether that's like listening to podcasts and thinking like trying to figure out like what the next step is that way, or actually investing in some education. Like I think that was one of the biggest things for me that really like opened up my mind to like be, because I think like at this point last year I did not know that like people would actually book me for 5 figures. Like that like shook me to the core. Whenever I actually booked one of them, I was like, oh my gosh, like there's this whole other side to like this industry. So I think kind of understanding that, and actually investing in your all's course, which was fantastic, like helped me so much get to kind of like where I'm at in 2025. I think doing that was a huge step in like where helping me get to where I'm at now.
Aw, it was so great having you. And okay, I just want to also say, like, 1 year ago, you said 1 year ago, I had no idea that someone would ever book me in the 5 figure range. And like 12 months later, here you are, and you've booked not just one, but multiple in the 5 figure range. So, like, that's so huge. Like, we're just really proud of you. So I just wanted to give
Yeah,
you a shout
appreciate
out and
that.
like recognize you. Yes, in 12 months, just how much your business can look so different.
Yeah, and I think that's like, so I really enjoy as well like helping others kind of get to where like they kind of understand that as well. Like I've got one guy that shoots with me a lot, and he took his business from like $0, like doing weddings for free, all the way to where he's booking like $5,000 weddings consistently now. And I've kind of like, he's second shot with me a ton. Like I feel like I've kind of like helped like helped him in the industry kind of like get going and stuff. And like that's been something that's been like so rewarding for me, is like helping others to kind of see like, hey, there's like this side of it too that you can really like tap into. It's like realistic, like you can really get there.
Actually, like, that's such a key word. It's realistic, because I think that a lot of people don't think that it's realistic for them, or they don't have what it takes or whatever. And Kelly and I like to say all the time that like, sure, our work is like good. It's like it's good, but we're not anything special. We're not like prodigy filmmakers over here. Like all it really takes is a strategy. And what I love most about our mastermind program that you were in, and I think you may be referring to Will Whiteley, who we had on the podcast a
Yeah,
few weeks ago, who actually sung your praises on the episode. So you'll have to tune into that when that goes live, Skylar. But
definitely. Yeah, I'll sing his
uh,
praises too. He's doing a great job.
yeah,
Yeah, he is.
what we love about the mastermind program is we don't just like hand the information to you and say like, here you go, good luck. We take you week by week, telling you exactly what to do. We've structured it in the order in which you need to approach your business, because believe it or not, most of the people listening to this, if you want to get to that point where you're charging 8, 9, 10, $12,000, like you really have to do some restructuring in your business, probably in areas that you didn't know needed attention. So Kelly and I love getting our hands into your business, like giving one-on-one reviews, like really making sure that we're approaching your business in that tailored and like direct way to where you can take what we teach and instantly implement it, and it's an exact roadmap. Like week by week, we tell you what you need to do. Because I think some people learn really well from just buying a course and going at their own pace and whatever, but I don't find that to be the case for a lot of people. People really like to like be told exactly what to do and when in order to see those results. So that's why we love our program so much. And if you want a little bit of a taste of what this whole luxury business is like and what it takes in order to get there, Kelly and I have a training coming up here in just a few weeks. It is called break into the luxury market that we would love to invite you to. It is completely free, and we would love to kind of show you those first steps that you need to take in order to get to the point where Skylar's at, where Kelly's at, where I am at. And you can grab your spot at thelevelupco.com/workshop. We would love to see you inside. I truly believe this is what springboards so many people's business to get to the point where they want to take it to.
Yeah. It's so true. And like Taylor said, like we're not just handing you the things, like we're doing image curation for you, we're restructuring copywriting alongside of you. I'm like looking in on people's banner films and telling you like exactly what needs to be in what order on your banner film, what's a no, what's a yes, what needs to come sooner in order to really attract those new high-end clients that you want. So there is really so much just one-on-one attention throughout the 12 weeks where it's really going to transform your business from the inside out. So, Skylar, back to you. What are your goals now in 2025? I think you said you want to like book maybe a couple more weddings. So you'll be like booking beyond your capacity, but I'm sure you're waiting for the right ones, right?
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. I've raised pricing a little bit with more weddings that I'm getting in 2025, to kind of like try to even out, or not even out, but I guess kind of like slow down a little bit because I was at a point, I think in like 2022 or 2023, I booked, I think like 23 weddings that year. And I was like, never again. I was like, I cannot do that. It just, for me, it's like really important to have a good work-life balance. So, with that, it's really important not to overbook myself because one, it's really important for me to like have good quality family time, like me and my wife be able to like enjoy our time, do stuff, and me not be working all the time. Just kind of like preserving myself long term in this business. Like if I'm doing, 20, 25 weddings a year, like I'm gonna get burnt out really quick. Like, and that's kind of what I was feeling back in 2022 or 2023, whenever it was that I booked those many or that many. It was kind of the point where I was like, man, I'm really getting burned out on this. Like, should I start thinking about like different options on like career choices? But the next year, I think I booked like 12 weddings because I'd kind of raised pricing and come down on that number quite a bit. And the next year was like so much better, where it was like I'm finding love for like what I'm doing again and really enjoying it. So.
Yeah, I think that so many people think that it's pointless to raise your prices because they're like, I only need so much money. Like, it's fine. But it's like, no, the beauty of raising your prices is now you can work a little less and have more Saturdays to go do the things that you love, whether that's going hiking with your family and your cute little dog or cuddling up on the couch and watching movies or whatever it is that like brings you life and like fulfills you in on a very like human level. I feel like the more the better, honestly. I think too many people spend their entire career just like really grinding, especially in the wedding industry, because for most people who work in the mainstream market, well, that's what you have to do to get by. Like life is expensive, guys. Like, can we just talk about eggs for a second? Like, oh my gosh, they're so expensive. And so we want to help break people out of that cycle of just burning themselves out so they can do exactly what you just said. So they can spend more time with their family, so they can have a longevity or a longer thriving career. Wow, that came out weird, but you know what I mean.
Okay, so 2025 already sounds like it's going to be a home run of a year for you. What is on the horizon for Skylar Ball Films in 2026?
Yeah, so 2026, I think really what I'm focusing on right now is like continuing to just build connections. That way, I'm hopefully getting like higher and higher level weddings in 2026. So really even in like mainly in this year, I would say like really just focusing in on those connections and like kind of making 2025 a year about connections. So that way in 2026, I'm hopefully setting myself up for a lot of success. And then in 2026, I would like for my average price to be in that 5-figure mark. So trying to, even if it's booking less weddings, which I'm more than happy with, kind of, setting myself up to continue to book around that 10K, 12K mark.
I think a lot of listeners are probably sitting here and it's, March of 2025 and you're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I haven't even started my 2025 wedding season. Why are we even talking about 2026 right now? And it's like, honestly, that's just the nature of the industry that we're in. We book weddings, a year out, typically, give or take, right? So, like, if you're not thinking about that now, sitting at the, you know, beginning part of 2025, then like you're already kind of setting yourself up for like a plateau of a year in 2026. So, just kind of like something that I want you guys to all think about as you're sitting here in this quarter one, we're like about to be done with quarter one of 2025, that like get 2026 on the horizon. Start to set up that bingo card for yourself now in 2026, even though we're just starting into 2025. It's just the nature of this business, to be honest.
Yeah, the seeds that you plant today are going to be what you sow next year. And you guys, I'm so sorry, but we see so many people scrambling because they didn't plant those seeds early enough. And then they're sitting there in January, February, March of the following year being like, oh my gosh, I do not have any great weddings on the books this year, or I don't have enough, or I'm scrambling. And we don't want you to scramble. We want you to enter each season in a like total power position, queued up for each season to be progressively better than the last. And if you're anything like us, I mean, you listen to this podcast. So the fact that you listen to this podcast means that you're probably a driven person and you have big goals, because that's literally all we talk about here. But are you doing the things that it takes in order to move the needle? We see so many people stuck in the dreaming phase. It would be nice to get to this point. It would be so great if I could do that. And I would love to in a perfect world. Well, we actually live in a great world. And the best part about it is you are in absolute, complete 100% control. So do the things that it takes to get to there next year. And maybe it just starts with breaking into the luxury market, our free training that you should hop into. It'll be linked in the show notes. No, I'm a huge believer in that like there are very few things that are out of our control in this world. Most things, in fact, are, whether we like to believe it or not. And business is absolutely one of them. And if you don't like where you're sitting right now and you don't want things to look different, or you want things to look different next year, then do it. Do the thing. Get out of dreaming mode, get into doing mode, and plant those seeds, because next year's coming, whether you do or not. So last week on the podcast, we had Josh of Birch Events on, and we talked about a lot of amazing topics. And if you haven't listened to that one, go back and listen. But one of the main things we talked about was just being an excellent person to work with. And I feel like so many people discount how important this truly is and how much of a role it truly plays when it comes to growing your business. So, what are some things, Skylar, that you've done that maybe kind of fall into the category of going above and beyond in order to be just a great person to work with?
Yeah, so I think kind of getting out of the budget market and kind of into like more of the lovely market. I think like you hear a lot in the budget market like about people like, especially from like photographers and planners, about, it feels like everybody has a horror story about videographers. Like everybody has some terrible story about working with a videographer. So I mean, I think a huge point with that is like just try to be an enjoyable person to be around, like be helpful on a wedding day. If it's like a planner or a photographer or a florist, like whoever, like make them some free content like after a wedding, because I mean that's huge for their business, and they need that. So free content on stuff like that, whether it's like helping out in like on styled shoots, like doing that stuff for free. I think free work like that like goes so far in the industry, and like regardless of where you're at in the industry. Like I've heard of people like that are way above where I'm at that are like still doing free work, like because unless you are like at the very very top of the industry, like there are people that are higher than you in the industry. Like there's always like a next level you can get to. So I think like offering stuff to those people, like really trying to be like a great person to work with, like enjoyable to be around. I think that just goes so far, like way farther than, making an incredible film even can go. Cause like y'all said, like I consider myself like a good videographer. I don't consider myself like anything crazy. But I just really try to be, an enjoyable person, be like helpful, be kind to people. Like that goes so far.
Yeah, it'll take you farther than buying that new lens you've been eyeing or buying that new drone when you already have one and you probably don't need a new one. I feel like we get fixated on the wrong things, truly, on the things that seem fun in the moment and they maybe are an instant little dopamine rush and it feels like we're moving the needle, but I actually feel like it's like a false sense of progress when we
Yeah.
focus on those wrong things.
Oh, absolutely. Also circling back to, where we said like, oh, these people that are way up here in the industry, like I still think that nobody is above like doing things for free or whatever. Like Jose Villa still shoots fam trips that are unpaid. Like he is at the tip top of the industry because like all of us need to continue to network and networking never ends no matter what level of the industry you're in. If you're in the budget market, if you're in the lovely market, if you're in the entry level luxury, mid, upper, ultra, networking never ends. And it's just all about continuing to get in the room and being a part of it. And that may look like doing things for free. Like I'm doing a fam trip next month in April and it's for free. And it's to get in the room with a core group of planners that I would love to be considered to work alongside. And so don't be afraid of free work or don't ever feel like, you're above doing things for free because it may just open up doors that you never were able to open before without, being able to put yourself in those positions, doing work complimentary for things. So yeah, just a quick little insert on that like I think that we all need to kind of like do a little check on like how are we moving the needle in the networking game and you get to a certain area and like you just have to keep going. We're never going to like stop networking on that. And so Skylar, you're doing an awesome job, especially because you're breaking into a new level of the industry that's going to mean you breaking into a new local market to you.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. The like the free work is like there was one wedding, for example, back in 2023, whenever I was like shooting so many weddings, but there was one that I was working with a planner I'd never worked with before, and like I knew that they were at that next level of the industry that I wanted to get to. So I think I was booked for like 6 hours or something. But I knew that it was going to be like a portfolio piece. Like it was going to be a great wedding, one that would be on my website, one that I would want lots of content from. So I think I ended up on that one, ended up shooting like 10 hours on the wedding day, just ended up showing up early and like making the planner lots of content. And
Yeah.
that planner is actually the one who I ended up booking my first 5-figure wedding with.
It comes
So,
full
See?
circle.
so
See?
yeah, doing things like that, just like you might not see the immediate payoff in the moment, but down the road it can like pay dividends so much.
Down the road, it'll pay dividends. I love it. It's so true. People are very microwave method. People want things now. They want instant results, and it can work that way. But a lot of the times, again, you're planting those seeds of what you want to sow later on. Skylar, this has been an amazing conversation. Kelly and I couldn't be more proud of what you've already accomplished, and we will be cheering you on along every step of the way when you get into these new levels of the market because I know you're just going to keep growing. For people who are listening who are not yet following along with you and your beautiful work, where can they find you?
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram at skylarball_. There, my website is just skylarball.com. So either of those, y'all can find me there.
Thank you for joining us in today's conversation. Please help us reach more filmmakers and photographers like you by taking a screenshot and sharing it to social media. And don't forget to tag us at The Level Up Co.
And join us again next week, same time, same place, as we continue to level up the industry together.